Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/IDontWorkHereLady. And our first story today comes from a large cosmetics retail chain. She didn't believe me. So I work in a large cosmetics retail chain. We also have a partnership with a certain department store, so sometimes that department store will have many versions of our freestanding store inside them. Just a few days ago, I got promoted and transferred to a new location inside another mall. This happens to be one of the malls that has a freestanding store, which is where I work, and a mini version inside a department store, literally like a few doors down. I have no idea why they put a mini one so close to a freestanding, but it is relevant to the story. Part of my job is ordering and receiving boxes. Sometimes the delivery company will make a mistake and send it to the mini store by accident or send their stuff to us. On my first day, I realized they had sent us one of the mini store's boxes and we were missing ours. I was told just to walk over to the mini store and give them their stuff and see if they had ours. Now, we have a very distinct uniform, and since I was working, I was wearing it when I walked over. It wasn't until I was already there that I realized this was a mistake. The mini store had about 6 clients and just 1 employee. I introduced myself and explained the situation, but she was pulled by a client before she could check for our box, so I was left just standing there. I was approached by multiple clients. A few of them asked me cosmetic-related questions, so I had no problem answering for them. But I did let them know that I was from the bigger store a few slots down. They were grateful for the help and laughed with me at my mistake of wearing my uniform over. Then we get to this one lady. She was older and holding a bunch of clothes. She rudely interrupts me while I'm talking to another client and demands that I ring her up for her clothes. I politely inform her that I actually don't work there and that I do not have access to their registers. I let her know that there's only one associate in the store and that I'm sure she'll get to her as soon as possible. But I recommended that she just go to one of the checkouts outside of the mini store. I then go back to speaking to my client. Of course, this lady flips out. She literally stomps her orthopedic shoe at me and starts going on about how hard it is to find good customer service and how it's because of people like me that retail is dying. At this point, she's attracted the attention of everyone in the store, including the associate. So she comes over and explains to the lady again that I just came here to drop something off for her and that I work at the freestanding store. This lady was not having it. She went so far as to say we were both lying to her and that she wasn't dumb enough to believe that there would be a mini store so close to a freestanding store. At the end of her rant, she decides to drop her clothes, not the one she's wearing, the one she was going to buy, and says she's not giving that department store 1 more cent of her money if they can't give her solid customer service, and she leaves. I apologize to the associate for creating such a fuss, and she just kind of nods at me and goes back to working with her clients. Never did find out if they received one of our boxes. So I go back to my store, and guess who walks in? The grumpy lady from the department store. I walk up to her and ask if there's anything I can help her with. She just scowled at me and left. Mistaken for waitress at husband's work party. I was browsing stories on this subreddit and was reminded of my own IDWHL experience. It was about 2.5 years ago at my ex-husband's work Christmas party. The party was at an event/conference center that supplied their own staff to serve food and drinks and set up the tables and chairs. The staff wore all black, and the females all had their hair pulled back. This is important, as I was wearing a black dress and heels with my hair in a bun. I was also approximately 8 months pregnant at the time. We had arrived about an hour early, as my ex had been voluntold to help set up the sound system, so I was wandering around trying to make myself useful until the party started. I located the restroom since I knew I'd need it 2 or 3 times throughout the evening, that damn baby bouncing on my bladder. When I came back from the bathroom, I noticed a few more people had trickled in, including my ex's commander, who I'd never formally met. Everyone was busy running around trying to get everything set up, including the commander. I decided to sit at our table since heels plus pregnancy were not combining well for me, and I knew it was going to be a semi-long evening. Maybe 2 minutes after I sat down, the commander walked past my table. I started to stand up because I thought it might be a good time to quickly introduce myself. I'll be M and the commander will be C. No, sit down. I wouldn't want to bother you, he said sarcastically. He was gone before I could respond, so I settled back into my chair, thinking he was just stressed about the party or was trying to be polite since I was so grossly pregnant. Who knows? A few seconds later, he comes back. Guess somebody needed a break. Feeling a little tired tonight, huh? Could you at least tell me where the bathroom is? Yes, of course. It's right down the hall on the left. Internally, I was thinking, well, I can't be rude to the commander, but what the F, dude? And he's gone again. My ex returns to the table. At this point, we're just chatting as more people filter in and come by to say hi. I didn't think much about the interaction as I, again, just figured he had other stuff going on. Never crossed my mind that he thought I worked there. A few minutes later, my ex has his arm around me as the commander comes back to the room. I see the light bulb turn on in his head as he comes over and introduces himself. He apologizes profusely and tells the whole table that he thought I was working the party since I was dressed like the staff. Drew a few laughs from everyone and all was well. He gifted us a few bottles of wine and liquor for after the baby arrived, so I guess it could have gone a lot worse. A tale from the medical field. I'm on mobile, so apologies for format. I just discovered this sub and wanted to share my own story. I worked in the medical field for many years, low-end employee, and we don't get many IDWHL situations beyond, sorry, I'm not qualified to answer that type stuff. This, however, is the only time I actually had it happen. I moonlighted at a nursing home doing patient transport when I wasn't working med-surg. One of my duties at the home is to go to the postal service and pick up the mail for the facility. They have a bright yellow metal bench that's in the middle of the loading bay right at shin level. I was unable to see the damn thing because I had a tub of mail in my arms and ran straight into it. I hit it pretty good and busted my shin wide open, wide enough to need stitches. I was sent to the hospital per company policy, and it happened to be mine. I walked into the ED, signed in, talked to my buddy who is triage, and told him I was going to go smoke. VA across the street allowed smoking, and he could reach me on Vocera. So I'm here standing with scrubs on, my legs soaked in blood when it happens. A little beat-up mid-90s sedan comes squealing out of the parking lot and slams on their brakes right in front of where I'm standing. Hey, they won't give me anything for pain. Oh boy. Sorry, dude, but I'm a patient here today. The jerk-seeking drug says, I've been here for an hour and they haven't seen me or care that I'm in pain. I tell him, sorry, but I can't help you. I don't work here. I'm here for a busted shin. At this point, I pull up my scrub leg and show him. I've donated several $1 million to this hospital. I shouldn't be treated like this. Once again, I can't help you. I'm from somewhere else and I'm not a doctor. $7 million! Where really can I go to get something for my pain? At this point, he's getting very aggressive, and I send out a police request through Vocera, which sends my location without having to speak to the police. Now, this hospital is state-funded, and our campus security is actually police on duty. They are state police and have full jurisdiction over the entire state. I also ring my buddy in triage and let him hear the conversation. Here comes the jerk-seeking drugs out of his beat-up car, running up to me. I'm in pain! The least you can do is get off your butt and get back inside and bring me some drugs! Especially after I basically paid your salary with my donation. Seriously, I don't think you did, pal. I tell him, sorry, man, but you should have kept some of that money to buy a better car. F you! Where can I go to get something for this pain? Well, you can go out to the parking lot and take a left to Hospital X or right to Hospital Y. I don't work here. Or prescribe drugs. Thankfully, the police show up right about then and take me to the side while talking to this guy. I tell them what happened and get sent inside to finally be stitched up. From what I understand, the fellow was arrested for possession, don't smoke weed at a hospital, folks, and carted off. We all had a good laugh about it inside, and I returned to my second job just in time to clock out and go home. Sorry if my story's a little long and fuzzy, but some details have to be changed due to privacy concerns. This was almost 10 years ago. The time I worked at an ice cream place, but not for them. Obligatory mobile disclaimer. My story's a little different from the typical ones, but I was told you'd like this. Back in high school, I had a summer job working for a local museum's garden project. Since we worked for a museum, we had almost no funding. The head of our project came up with a fantastic idea for funding. We'd partner with a local ice cream shop for a day. We'd be employees for a few hours, and all tips would go to our funding. However, since we would only be there a few hours, we didn't get any training and no one thought to give us a script to explain the fundraiser, or even tell anyone a fundraiser was even happening. So it was no surprise when a nice old man saw me struggling to make his order and commented, "Is it your first day here?" "No," I laughed. "I don't even work here." "What?" he asked, confused. I explained about the fundraiser and pointed to my hat with the garden's logo on it and explained that all tips we earned over the next 2 hours would go toward buying manure and seeds for the garden. "We're serving sweets so we can buy something stinky," I said with a laugh. Everyone in the line that heard my explanation laughed and the mood in the shop instantly changed. Instead of people being annoyed at how slow we were at getting their ice cream, they started chatting with us about what our actual jobs were and what we wanted to do after high school. Everyone from the garden started having fun with it. One kid went so far as offering to let a little kid sniff his hands to prove he didn't have any manure on them. By the end of our time, we'd earned about $200 in tips. We were able to buy our seeds, manure, and even have some extra money to buy chickens and build them a coop. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.